Hi, my name is Jonathan Wilson on behalf of ExpertVillage.com. We're learning how to play an advanced funk groove on the piano, and so far we've looked at a nice little groove with a bass line and some comping patterns. We've added some ways to add variety into that groove. Now we've built places where we can have holes that are just sort of empty. Now we want to fill those holes up with some easy little right hand solo patterns. We're going to talk a little bit about the kinds of techniques that you can use to play over a funk groove like this. This whole thing is a solo in the context that we're doing it, but these are little sections that sound more like a piano solo. You'll see what I mean. We're going to start with a real classic lick. It's actually a blues lick, but it works great over this funk groove. It's just a tremolo between the 5 and the flat 7. In our C chord, that would be between G and B flat. I'm sure you've heard this a million times. Every blues player in the world plays this lick. But it's a great place to start because it's not very hard and it sounds great. We'll do it very slowly over the metronome. With the tremolo, it's hard to play slowly. I'm going to intentionally play it kind of slowly. When you do it up to speed, you'll want to get this to be a nice little shake. You'll see what I mean when we do it full speed. Here it is slowly. Okay, so some things to keep in mind when you're doing this. Just in terms of technique, when you do a tremolo like this, it's not about your fingers. It's definitely not something where you're sitting there pressing the muscles of your fingers back and forth in order to get this tremolo to happen. It's definitely more of a wrist action. Think of turning a doorknob, if you can. You kind of want to sort of stiffen your fingers into position. It doesn't really matter which fingers you use. I like to use my thumb and my third or fourth or second. You can really get away with anything, but the trick is to sort of get them into position and then just turn that wrist, okay, so that you've got a nice, that's the motion you want. You can sort of get a nice tremolo going there that's very relaxed, and your arm and fingers won't get tired if you learn that technique, okay? So let's try it up to speed over the bass line with the drums. All together, it's going to sound like this. Okay? It's really not very complicated. The whole trick to that is getting that nice fluid wrist action going that lets you do the tremolo without a lot of work. It should almost play itself if you're doing it correctly. Next time, we're going to talk about some other variations you can use with your right hand for solo patterns. We're going to borrow some chapters from guitar players.